Hi there, this is a video about multiplication and division of inequalities. So with multiplication and division inequalities, we solve them the same way as we would an equation. The only difference is that if we multiply or divide by a negative, then we have to reverse the inequality symbol. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So here's a couple of statements. All right, I've got an equality statement and I have two inequality statements. And what I want to show you is that if I use the property of equality, meaning like if I were to add 1 to the left side, to keep that balance, I have to add 1 to the right side, okay? And that's going to give me the statement that 4 is equal to 4, which is still a true statement. All right, we started with a true statement, and if we operate and do things and manipulate our equations, we want to remain with true statements. Now I could do the same thing, and I could subtract both sides by 2. All right, and that's going to give me a new statement that says 2 is equal to 2, and that's still going to be a true statement. But then let's say that I multiply by, say, like -3 on both sides. So multiply by -3. Then we're going to get, a new statement that says like -6 is equal to -6, and that's still going to be a true statement, okay? And we can do that over here, all right? I can say like, let's, go ahead and just subtract 1 from both sides. Of my inequality. We started with a true statement that 1 is less than 5. That's true. 5 is greater than 1. And if we subtract 1 from both sides, then I get that 0 is less than 4. That's still going to be a true statement, okay? And if I wanted to like add numbers to both sides, so like let's say I add 3 to both sides, then I still am going to get a true statement. I'm going to get 3 is less than 7, and that's still going to be true. Now over here, even if I'm dealing with negative numbers, that's okay. All right, if I wanted to say add 2 to both sides, then I'm going to get the statement of -1 is greater than -10. Okay, and we started with a true statement. We continue to get a true statement. If I were to say subtract 7 from both sides, then I'm going to get the inequality -8 is greater than -17, which is still going to remain a true statement. Okay, so you can add and subtract. That doesn't matter, okay? Now, over here, what I did was I multiplied each side by a negative, and nothing changed here, okay? We still had a true statement. So let's take an inequality, and let's multiply by a negative to see what happens. So let's say that I have the inequality, -2 is less than 10. Now, we all agree that this is a true statement. Now, if I were to multiply both sides and multiply, say, by 3 here, all right, then that's going to give me the inequality of -6 is less than 30, okay? And that's still a true statement. But if I were to divide both sides by -2, then something interesting happens. When I do that, I have -6 divided by -2, which gives me a +3. And then I've got 30 divided by -2, which gives me a -15. Now notice that if we just carry down our inequality symbol, that I have 3 is less than -15. And that's not true, okay? What I've got is a false statement here. And so what I have to do in order to make this true is I have to reverse my inequality symbol and say that 3 is greater than -15 in order to make that true. So the conclusion that we can draw from this is that if you multiply or divide, okay, and remember those operations go hand in hand, okay, and I did division on my example here, but if we multiply or divide by a negative, okay, then you must reverse your inequality symbol, okay? And that's going to be, what we do when we solve any sort of inequality, okay? Now let's look at some examples. Okay, so as I look at this example here, it says 3 times some number m is greater than or equal to 24, okay? And I want to solve this inequality for m. Now, I just want to treat this like I would any other equation, and divide by 3 on both sides. Now, because I divided by a positive number here, okay, I don't have to reverse my inequality symbol. All right, so the 3's divide out just like they would in a normal equation. and I'm left with m is greater than or equal to 8. All right, now let's quickly graph this inequality here. And I'm going to put 0, and then I'm going to put 8. All right, and so because I've got m is greater than or equal to 8, I know that m is big, and the 8 is small. Okay, so because of that, because I know that m is big, and if I go to the right of my graph, that's big. Okay, so then I want to use a closed-in circle and then shade to the right on my graph. Okay, on this next example, I've got -4 times t is less than or equal to 20. Okay, so if I were to solve this, inequality, I just want to do what I would normally do. All right, and that's going to be divide both sides by -4. All right, so if I divide by -4, the -4 is divide out here. I'm left with t on my left side. And then 20 divided by -4 gives me -5. But then remember what I have to do is I have to reverse my inequality here. And t is greater than or equal to -5. All right, if we graph that, again, I just draw a line. I put 0 and I put -5. All right, t is big. All right, and so big means we go to the right. All right, so big means we go to the right, colored in circle because we are greater than or equal to, and then we shade to the right on something like this, okay? Okay, on this next example, what you have here is you have -r/3 is greater than +7. So what I want to do here is understand what this question is asking me. When I have r/3, that means that I'm dividing by 3. And if I want to move this 3 over, I want to multiply it. Now, because I have a negative sign out front, I want my negatives to go away, and I just want to be left with r on the left side. So what I want to do is multiply both sides by -3. Okay, so multiply by -3. And when I do that, what's going to happen is my negative, what I have over here is I have -3 divided by -3, which is going to divide out to 1. And so you're just left with r. Now, because we multiplied both sides by a negative number, what I want to do is flip my inequality symbol and then do 7 times -3, which is going to give us -21. All right, and that's my solution. I want to graph this, and so I draw a number line. I plot a 0. I plot -21, and then I have an open circle because I'm strictly less than, and r is less than, so r is small. And remember that if we're small, we go to the left. All right, so I'm going to shade to the left for this. Okay, on this last example, I want to go through this problem, and it's -3/4 times x is greater than or equal to +3. Now, from here, what I want to do is if I have a fraction out here, all right, I want to, instead of dividing by -3/4, I want to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by -4/3. Multiply by -4/3. All right, so because let me show you what I get here. So I get -4 times -3 is +12. All right, I get 3 times 4, which is 12, times x. And then because I multiplied by a negative, I want to reverse my inequality symbol. All right, so it's less than or equal to. And then this is going to give us 3 times, I'm going to put this over 1. 3 times -4 is -12. 1 times 3 is 3. Now, what you have over here is you have 12 divided by 12. That's going to become 1 and divide out. So you're simply just left with x on the left side. And that's going to be less than or equal to -12/3, which is going to give us -4. Okay, so from here, all right, you want to draw your graph. Here's 0. Here's -4. X is smaller than -4. Small means we go to the left. All right, and so I have a closed circle because we are less than or equal to, and I'm going to shade that to the left. Okay, and that's what I got. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know that's a lot of information, but it's the same stuff that you've been doing, except for if you multiply or divide by a negative, then you got to reverse your inequality symbol. So I hope you enjoyed this. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.